Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Mr. Adeayor Bet Predict. In today's video, we are going to be staking or predicting some of our basketball match that are available today. Just make sure that you pay a very good close attention to whatever we are doing in this particular video. So in this video, you guys will be taking with me some particular basketball games, and in the last video I told you guys about videos of games that you need to avoid, and there are some factors that you need to consider before avoiding it. So we talked about games that are playoff and standing, like probably the league games that involve using of tables. So games like tournaments in basketball, you need to always avoid it. Now in today's video, I'll be making use of games that are league, that involve using of their table, maybe for probably the teams that are in first position, second position, third position, and all other things like that. But make sure that you always avoid anything like tournaments in basketball. So whenever you're having tournaments, basketball happens to be something that is not really very consistent, and we need to be very careful when we are playing it. Now let us start. So I have some games here that are not playoff, because most of the major leagues that we have for today's match, as you guys can see it, we have the German match and the Greece match, but unfortunately there happens to be something like a playoff stuff. And what do I mean by playoff? They are games that involve using of draws. Probably after this they are playing final. So this, okay, so this is actually the final match. So this is the draw. So you guys need to avoid and take note of this particular point. Now I'll be picking some games using my own personal method and analysis on how I use how I predict my basketball effectively. Now let us check some games. So in this video, you guys will be sticking with me, and we are going to do some analysis and let's see the outcome. Now this is how you can effectively keep winning bets when it comes to basketball, and I'm going to show you guys step to step guide on it. Now the first thing that you need to do is look for games that are league oriented. For example, let us check this particular stores. Okay, if you check it very well, this is their league table. You can see, so you can see that the home team is currently on a ninth position on the league table, and the away team is currently on the fifth position on the league table. So these are the kind of games that I will always advise you guys to always play or analyze on. Now let us start our analysis on it. So the first thing that I will do now is I will check their head to head. At least I need to check their form, the last 5 games, and let's see. So if I want to predict my games, or if I want to play, if I want to do analysis on basketball, I always make sure that both home and away, they are always in form. In form is the sense that at least in the last 5 games, both teams must have won 3 games out of their last 5 games. But unfortunately, in this particular situation, we are having it that the home team is only won 2 games out of their last 5 games, and they lost 3. So for me, I will just decide to skip this. Actually, this particular factors plays little role when it comes to doing your analysis, but at least the little role that it plays, it can affect your outcome. You are staking with money, and when you are doing that, you need to be very careful of what you do. You need to play on the safer side. Now let's check another games that probably we can have something good from it. So let's check their head to head. Okay, unfortunately, the home team here is in a very bad form. Same thing goes to away team. So let's skip this. And another thing that I want you guys to note, please, I don't know if I've mentioned it in the last video. Make sure that you always avoid women's league. The consistency in that particular in those leagues, because all women's league, most of their results are not always consistent, so you have to avoid it. So let us check our south. So make sure you check this, make sure it is league match that you are analyzing. So let's check the form. Okay, in the last 5 games they won 3 games. Actually one ended up as draw, but let us just keep, let's overlook that, and let's assume it is They won 3 out of the last 5 games, and this they won everything. At least they are in 100% form considering their last 5 games. And considering the last 5 games of the home team, they are currently in 60% form, at least winning 3 out of their last 5 games. Now, the next steps that we need to take now to finalize on what we are going to predict this particular match. Now, let's start. So, for me, I always make use of the media method. So, guys, the media method. And if you happen to be a basketball lovers that you like taking on basketball, please pay very good close attention to this and follow me. And prediction tips that I will drop on these particular videos should be followed carefully. And don't forget to bet responsibly, please, guys. Nothing is always 100%. So now let's just start our analysis. So they played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we are going to start by eliminating the two smallest figure in the last 5 games of the home team. So this happens to be one of the smallest, which is 69. So let's check another one, which is, so we have 80. Okay, now the next thing is we eliminate the two biggest. Since we've already eliminated the two smallest, we are eliminating the two biggest too now. So let's eliminate 99 and 88. So fortunately, our average point now is 85 for the home team. Now I want you guys to document that down. Now it's time to check for the away team also. They are currently in 100% form, but let's check. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the last 5 games. Now let us eliminate the two smallest before eliminating the two biggest. So we have 89 here, and we have 90. Now let us eliminate the two biggest point they had. We eliminate this and this. So the average middle point that we are having now is 100. Now adding 100 with 85, that is 185. Okay, this will serve as our average point that we've gotten from the last 5 games with other teams for both home and away. So it is 185. This average point only gives insight of the possible outcome that we should be expecting. So now, before we conclude on which average points we are using, we also need to consider the last 5 games that they played against each other. And now let's check. So we have, for the home team, we have 1, 2, 3. Okay, they only played 4 games in the last previous games that I'm seeing here. Probably, I think this particular live score app sometimes may not always include all their last previous games, but let us just do it this way. Since the last 5 games against each other is not up to 5 and we are having 4, so I'm just going to make just a decision on that, but I will still apply my median method on it. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So let me eliminate the smallest, just one smallest figure, which is 73. So I'm eliminating the biggest figure also, which is 113. So we have 2 points left now. We have 102 and 77. Between 102 and 77, I'm picking 77 because 77 happens to be the smallest compared to 102. And the reason for picking 77 is because it is better to pick a smaller figure when you want to predict your over in basketball. It is better to take smaller figure than to pick the bigger figure and you are predicting your games as over. So anything can happen in that situation. Now let us move on to checking for the away team also. We have 89 here, we have 55, we have 85, and we have 89. All right. So now let us eliminate the smallest figure that we are seeing here. We eliminate this, and we eliminate the biggest. We eliminate 89. So now we are having two figures left, which is 85 and 89. So between these two, we know that 85 happens to be the biggest figure. So you add 85 with the 77 that we have, and that will be our average point. So this is what I always do. in the last 5 games that they've played with again with other teams, and the last 5 games that the last previous games that they played against each other, in the last average point that we had before, we had 185, and the one that they've played against each other happens to be 162. So what I always do is that I always pick the smallest among these two figures. For example, now we're having 185 and 162, and the smallest happens to be 162. I always take 162, which happens to be the smallest point for our when you're having two average points, you have to go for the smallest. Now 162 is my smallest point, and if I want to play safe, or if I just want to play straight like that, I will just predict the game as over 162. That is risk taking when it comes to basketball. But if I want to play safe, I always subtract a certain figures from that average point. So I subtract 10 from 162 and I'm having 152. So probably I don't know if the bookmakers will provide the market for that, and where the error came from, where we can probably have issues is when their last previous meeting against each other is not actually up to 5, and that is the reason for these particular figures to be very small. So let's assume I want to play safe on this particular game. I will be going for over 152, because I already told you guys that in basketball, consistency is not that very common. So make sure that you stake responsibly, because looking, for example, a team that is playing rough, probably 200 points, they are playing 190 points, and checking here, they are playing, I think, 128 points, and they are playing 160 points here. So it happens very well in betting, and most especially basketball, their consistency is always fluctuating. Now, my own prediction for this particular match, if you are able to get a bookmakers that will offer the market, you can predict it as over 152. Now let us check another match and let's see if we can get something good from it. So let us go to West and let's see if we can have something good from there. So this is also a league game, not a playoff or maybe tournament like that. So the next thing I will do is check the last 5 games. Are they in form? Okay, unfortunately, this team they only won 2 games. I'm skipping that. This team also lost all their last 5 games. Let's check other things. So I said we are always avoiding women's league. Please take note of that. Always avoid women's league. Consistency is at 0. They've played this particular match already. So let's look for something else. Okay, fortunately this happens to be a league game, and let's see if we can have something to predict on it. Let's check their head to head. Unfortunately, this team they are not also informed. So it seems like since most of the leagues have ended and we are finding it very hard to stake on basketball, we don't always have enough basketball games to predict on. Okay, I think we have one match left here. Okay, this is also a league game. So let's check their head to head. Wow. It can be very hard sometimes to get games if the teams are not always at least 60% in form. And if you want to skip or overlook that, it can be, it can cost you. It can later cost you the outcome. So that's the reason why I want you guys to avoid some games. Okay, all right. I think I found another perfect game to go for and to predict and to apply our analysis on now. The next thing that we are going to do is we already see that these two teams, at least they are currently having 80% form by winning their 4 games out of their last 5 games against other teams. So the first thing, let us go for the home team. So in basketball, another thing that I like in basketball is that having just 2 games, it is sometimes enough for you guys. So now let us win this particular games together. Don't forget, in the previous analysis that we did, the prediction for that one is over 152 total points in basketball. And for this particular team match also, I'm going to drop the prediction on it. And with that just 2 games, you should be having nothing less than 1.50 odds if you have a correct bookmakers. Now let's quickly do our analysis on this particular team also, and let's see what we have. So for the home team, they played 90 here, they played 92, they played 105, they played 90, and they played 106. Okay, amazing. Now this is what we do, and let us first eliminate these 2 smallest and let's move on. We have 90, 90 as the 2 smallest. Now the 2 biggest, we have 106 and 105, and the middle point happens to be 92. Now I want you guys to note that down, 92. Now let us move on to the away team also. We have 87, 105, 112, 113, and 111. So the first thing that we need to do is to eliminate the 2 smallest figure. We'll eliminate the 87 here, and we eliminate 105. Now let us eliminate the 2 biggest. We eliminate 112 and 113, and our middle point happens to be 111. So adding 111 with 92, surely we are getting 203. So 203 happens to be the average point that we've gotten from the last previous games that they've had with other teams. Now we are taking that one aside, which is 203. Now let us check their last previous games. Unfortunately, these particular teams, they've not been having, constant games or match against each other. The last previous games that I'm seeing here, I think they only had 2 games. One ended up in 191, and the other one ended up in 75 and 91. So among these two, when you are going for something like over, make sure that you always go for something that is very small. So by adding 91 and 75 together, surely we are getting 166. Okay, now since we are getting 166 and 203, which one is the smallest? We can see that 166 happens to be the smallest average point. But guys, if you want to do the analysis on your own and you are having something like this, make sure that you always go for something small. But when we are having 5 games, against each other completely, we are going to apply the same method as we applied when we are predicting, like when we are checking the average point in the last 5 games with other teams. Now we have 166 as our average point. So for me, if I want to go for the over point prediction for this particular match, I would like to go for it as over 156. So that's how it is. So guys, in the next video, we are going to drop probably, if we are able to get enough games for the day, we are going to drop something like 10 odd. We are going to do the analysis together and get 10 also. Guys, thanks for watching. See you guys in the next video where we'll be dropping an accurate basketball 10 odd prediction. So see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to like our video, click on the subscribe button, and if you have any question, please kindly drop it in the comment section. So see you guys in the next video. Bye.